Hello and welcome to this Key News International Bulletin. Protests against the Iran regime have continued here in the UK. A march of solidarity with the women of Iran have taken place in Manchester. The country has seen numerous protests since the death of 22-year-old Gina Amini in the hands of the authorities last September. Around 500 Iranians have since died or been killed as a result of demonstrations. Almost a year after Russia's renowned offensive in Ukraine, it seems some refugees have not had the experience they expected in the UK, and the same goes for those housing them. Under the Homes for Ukraine scheme, British citizens expected to provide a roof over the heads of the fleeing Ukrainians for 6 months. Many have ended up taking far more on.
The government set up the scheme and took a lot of credit for bringing the refugees over here. And there was absolutely no help whatsoever. I think everybody felt they put a huge amount of energy into transitioning the Ukrainians from Ukraine into the UK. So it is very sad, I think everybody feels the same way, that the next stage, so when the scheme comes to an end, the next stage of trying to move them out then into private accommodation, the government have had absolutely no plans in place.
The number of students applying for UK universities from China has fallen for the first time in more than a decade. Experts say COVID increased Chinese self-sufficiency and China's reporting of racism in the UK could be to blame. The UK's government wants to cut the number of international students, but many universities are relying on overseas funding. People in Nigeria are counting short of money which actually belongs to them. The African nation has introduced a new currency, but there aren't enough banknotes in circulation, leading the shortages at ATMs.
With regards to this printing, they do expect that there will be some form of demand for the local currency, which is the naira. We've been seeing demand for the US dollar. We've been seeing demand for the pound sterling as a result of this migration from different frontier economies, which Nigeria is a major part of.
Now, how would you feel if the government gave you €50 which you could spend on a night out? Well, this is what is happening in Berlin. The government in charge of the German capital is handing out cash to anyone aged between 18 and 23 on a prepaid culture card. It can be used on a range of activities including museums, theatres and nightclubs.
It's €50, you don't have to pay anything. It's literally like a €50 gift. You can go to the nearby library and pick it up there. It's super easy. And then you just, instead of paying at the entrance for something, you just show the card. It's a bit like a prepaid.
However, the scheme doesn't benefit everyone, particularly those who are 24.
A lot of cultural institutions have suffered so badly. So I think it's nice they're trying to incentivize young people to go and visit them. Obviously, it's a shame because, yeah, I just turned 24 in October, so I was only a few months away. But yeah, I think it would have been nice to be able to use the card and to be able to go to the museum and stuff like that. I understand in a way why they've had to cut it off at a certain age because there's only so much funding.
And in sport news, USA striker Alex Morgan has criticised Visit Saudi's reported sponsorship of the 2023 Women's World Cup in Australia and New Zealand. Grassroots player at Salford University said they found the decision disheartening. Australia and New Zealand say they were not informed of the decision and have asked FIFA for clarification. FIFA is yet to respond. Thank you for joining us today, and you can catch our radio show later at 5.